You're watching NRATV with Bill Whittle.
I love my country. I've always loved my country, but I didn't know my country. And I get out and I go everywhere I can. But I met my country this weekend, the last 3 days. I met them in every color, every shape, and every race. They are so grateful. They are so courageous. They're amazing. And I want our country to come together. We saw that this weekend, and we have a loving nation. It is still here, and I want us to start loving each other.
That's Kenny Vaughn, one of the most remarkable individuals that I've seen on television, and remarkable especially because he's such a regular guy. He's just a regular American, and that makes him really pretty extraordinary, certainly in my eyes and in the eyes of many people around the world. Hi, everybody. I'm Bill Whittle. This is the Hot Mic Show coming to you live from Los Angeles. And today we're going to be talking about the attempts, the rescue attempts, the recovery attempts in Houston. But mostly we want to concentrate on the positive, because the events in Houston have been terrible, but they have also shown us that the fundamental core of this country, the moral core, the just sort of the foundation, is still intact. And that's something we need to remind ourselves every day, because we hear so much negativity and we cover it on this show. But it's good to know every now and then, when we really strip the paint off and you get down to the bare metal, that this country is still very sound, and it's sound because of people like Kenny Vaughn, and we'll be talking to him in just a few moments. Now, I'm going to get just the negative part of the show out of the way very quickly. It's very brief. But as usual, the mainstream media has been trying to hang this around Donald Trump's neck in some way or another. You may remember yesterday that the big complaint was that Melania Trump went from the White House to the helicopter in black high heel shoes. The press apparently having nothing else to complain about. I have a feeling that Melania Trump and Donald Trump are smart enough to know that you can, change shoes on an airplane. So there was that. Today, the criticism is that President Trump is being insufficiently compassionate. And what they're really trying to say about that is, when he's showing insufficient compassion, they mean that he's not showing us that he cares as much as he should. Now, of course, the master of this and the person who started this entire sort of emotional, clam bake was Bill Clinton. He was legendary for, I feel your pain. Well, Mr. President, that's nice and everything. I don't need you to feel my pain, to be honest with you. That's what I have my mom for. What I want from a president is I want somebody to stop the pain. I want somebody who's going to get out there and do what they need to do in order to stop the pain. I'm not much interested in you feeling the pain. And so the mainstream media, again, is trying to say, well, President Trump should have been more compassionate. What does that mean? What does it mean? Would they feel happier if he were to stand there and cry, and the governor cry, and the police chiefs all cry, and everybody cried? Would that make it a better situation? Or would you rather have people who are out there trying to get things done and try to get people saved and back on their feet? Enough of the negativity for today. Today's a real positive show, and it's one we really, really do need to hear. Listen, the disaster at Houston is an enormous catastrophe. It may be one of the 3 biggest natural catastrophes in the history of this country. It is a gigantic, gigantic mess, and it covers a very wide area and affects a lot of people. But the situation in Houston has also served a very positive purpose, and what it's done is it's served to remind us of who we really are as people and as a nation when the chips are down. Anybody can argue and complain and, sort of whine about things when things are good, and things are good in this country pretty much all the time. But when things go south, interesting choice of words there, actually. When things go south, we get a chance to see what we're really made of. Sometimes in cities we see riots, and sometimes other places we see riots and disturbances. Sometimes we see heroism in the city, sometimes we see heroism in the country, and that's what we get to find out, what we're really made of. So before we bring in the really remarkable Kenny Vaughn, I would first like to just point out the incredible work that the first responders have been doing. The people who do this job for a living have enormous personal, physical courage. So there's that. I mean, it's just their job full-time is to go into very dangerous places and help people who can't get out of very dangerous places. So there's the the physical courage. And by the way, it makes me proud to live in a country where they not only have these kind of personnel and this kind of courage, but they also have this kind of training and they have this kind of equipment. This is a well-equipped country. It's a rich country, and it is exactly, in my opinion, this is what the government should be doing. This is why we have a government, to get people in there with helicopters and supplies and so on and help people in need. That's what the government's for, not so much to tell me, you know, what insurance I have to buy or whether or not I need to wear a safety helmet in my shower. You know, that's not really what the government's about. This is what the government's about. And these guys, these first responders, are absolutely fantastic. We can't say enough about them. They've earned and have long ago earned my personal respect. They've had it my entire life. And I know for most of you, you feel the same way. I'm sure all of you feel the same way. But I couldn't start talking about Houston without a tip of the hat to these remarkable professionals. So one more thing about these first responders, these professionals who do this. And I just mentioned they have incredible physical courage, but they have a tremendous sense of moral courage as well. What I mean by that is, it's one thing to face the risks of going out into a flood zone or into a fire zone or whatever, earthquake, whatever the case may be, crawling into broken buildings. It takes physical courage. But they also exhibit a strong sense of moral courage, because we tend to forget that these young men, mostly men, some women as well, have families. They have families, and more often than not, their families are in the same area that's being hit by the disaster. The fact that these people have the moral courage to basically say to their loved ones and their family, I have to go now, there are people who are in greater need than we are, that's not an easy thing to do. And they do it every day, not just during the floods at Houston. Policemen, firemen, they do this every day. They decide to go out and try to save other people's lives at the cost of potentially making their wives widows and their children's, you know, fatherless or motherless. It's a remarkable group of people, and it's a very select group of people, and you don't really go looking for those people or picking them. They find you somehow. They find a way for them to be where they need to be, and I just can't say enough about these guys. Now, as it turns out, to be fair, a number of countries around the world, not a whole lot, but certainly two handfuls of countries have professionals like this. Certainly I've seen relief workers in Japan after tsunamis and earthquakes have been extremely professional, very, very good, brave, well-equipped, same in Western Europe. But there's something here in America that we don't see anywhere else, and that is the magnificence of the American people and their ability to take the initiative when things have gone very, very wrong. It's not just that they're willing to help, it's that they're willing to take the initiative to help. Again, that's a kind of a moral courage that you don't find very, very much of anywhere else in the world. So that's what we want to talk about today. We want to talk about the power of the American citizen when the chips are down. And as I said, we've got a tremendous guest today. So let's roll just a couple of minutes of what Kenny Vaughn is doing down there and the kind of person that he really is.
That's Cliff Palermo's house. Cliff Johnson's house. I help. They're going through hell. And I expected panic. I expected a lot of stuff, but that's not what I found. I mean, these people are courageous, man. They're awesome. I love them. They love us. They got their kids in life jackets and floaties. We're loading them 18, 20 at a time in our boat. There's guys around us. Their boats are breaking down. They're walking them in and out. There's an army of civilian volunteers down there that are getting it done. They're the ones that are getting it done. And the law enforcement, they're doing all they can. But it's the civilians that got the boats, that got the equipment, that got trucks that, you know, are 10, 12 inches of lift on them that can drive in and out. And these guys are tearing up their vehicles, tearing up their boats. It don't matter. It don't matter, man. We're getting the people out. Here's the thing. Tonight, we may get another 12 inches of rain. And if we do, y'all, you know, this is going to Pine Island Bio. You know, you may not make it in that attic. I mean, there's just no reason to stay when we get you to the church. And we'll get you, and we'll get your pets, and we'll be there. I'm coming to help you. Yeah, we love that flag. Thank you for your service, sir.
Chevy Girl to Marsh Life, Chevy Girl to Marsh Life, or any available boats over in the Mesa and Tidwell area trying to launch. Mesa and Tidwell trying.
And the people that are coming out of there are amazing. We're praying for them. They're praying for us. You know, I love this country, man. It's a great country. I'm sick of it fighting. I'm sick of this, of all the stupid. That's not who we are. I know it's not who we are. Every religion, every color, every race, they all been on this boat the last 3 days. They're all grateful. We love each other.
Ladies and gentlemen, it is a great honor for me to have Kenny Vaughn here. As I said before, who's remarkable for the fact that he's really quite an unremarkable guy in terms of being a professional. He's not a professional rescuer. He's a member of Athletes for Christ and Shields for Strength. But Kenny Vaughn is America. Kenny Vaughn is what makes this country work. It's what Kenny and people like Kenny are the reasons that this country is worth defending. Kenny, it's a real honor and a pleasure to have you on the show today. And one of the things I'd like to start off with was during the video we just saw, you made a point that I think is really important and that needs to be stressed. You said you didn't see anybody panicking. And some of the video pictures we saw while we were listening to you would be an elderly lady in a boat, but other people on the boat were smiling and patting her hand. Everybody is taking this just in exemplary fashion, I think.
Yeah, no question. I don't know. I think in Houston, Beaumont, Vidor, more than 500 people we've looked in the eye. I mean, the reason we even know how many, we've got 400 Shields of Strength. It's just necklaces with scripture on them. We gave them all away in Houston. So I don't know how many. We've done tons here. But nobody, I've seen nobody panicking. You can see in their eyes the fear. I'm not saying they're not afraid, but for some of them, it's like you're picking them up to take them to a barbecue, and everything they own is being left behind. This is an amazing country with amazing people. I mean, I'm standing right here right now. We rescued a family out of here a few minutes ago. There's a man and white woman back here that won't go. We came back by on our way out because the water's already risen 4 inches since we left here. We're in Vidor, Texas. They opened up the dams and the floodgates, and the water's pouring in here. Boat pulls up next to us. It's a mixed family from Mississippi, of all places. These people coming over from Mississippi. They're over there down here by the droves. They're everywhere helping me and my neighbors. And I just didn't listen to him beg this man to come out of his house. He won't come. We got his name, and we pinned him, and we're in a helicopter if he needs it. But listen, it's not about me, man. It's about an amazing country loaded with amazing people and loaded with loving people. It's a loving country. All I was trying to say was I'm sick and tired of the media. Who we are.
Hey, Kenny, you know what I find really interesting about this? You're right. It's a loving country and it's an amazing country. And one of the foundations for this is something that nobody really seems to think about. Now, I know there's a lot of different organizations down there helping out, but as a general rule, this sort of armada of individual people bringing their boats is being referred to as the Cajun Navy. So we'll just use them as an example. One of the reasons that this rescue effect is so effective is because there are so many people out there helping with tiny little boats. And the thing that nobody seems to realize ever is that you work hard in this country. You can work 8 hours a day, 10 hours a day, work hard in this country. Some of it's dirty work, some of it's unpleasant work. But if you work hard enough and you keep at it, then over time, you can save enough money to buy a truck and buy a boat. And when you are able to own these things for your own personal recreation and enjoyment as a reward for all the hard work you've done, you all of a sudden have tremendous ability in an emergency. And we're hearing stories, and you've been telling us about them too, of people who would basically take their truck and their boat, get on the freeway, drive tens, hundreds of miles, perhaps sometimes even thousands of miles, I'll bet, to Houston with their boat on the back, just knowing that they can help somehow. They can help somebody somehow. And that ownership of these boats and things is a big part of why this is working, don't you think?
Oh, there's no question. When we were heading over here this morning, I looked at Andrew and I said, man, this neck of the woods, we love hunting and we love fishing. I mean, anything we can do to get out and go fishing, we're going to go. And so you see boats on the road all the time. But listen, every boat in this country, much they love hunting, they love fishing. What I'm trying to say is, look how much they love people. I mean, and not only will they drive across town, they'll drive from Mississippi, they'll drive from Florida. I got 2 guys left me this morning from Florida, Canada, California. It's amazing, man.
I mean, it's
Yeah, it is amazing.
amazing country. They're amazing people that are loving. It really is. It's love. That's what
Kenny,
it's Love. Listen, love is not a feeling; it's a choice.
you've absolutely got it. You've absolutely got it. When I first heard you speak a couple days ago on the recording that we had of you out in the field, you nailed it. I mean, everybody talks about this and that and so on. We can talk about economics and capitalism and freedom and all the rest, but you said it's love. It's love that puts people out there. What got you to go, Kenny? What when you heard that this was going to be bad, or certainly saw that it was going to be bad? What was it that made you simply want to be there? It looks like you're there 24/7 now for days and days and days.
Well, I'm sitting in my house and I'm watching what's going on, and I know I have the resources to make a difference. Even if it's for one person, I have the resources to make a difference. And so I got up. It's the same reason everybody else got up and lived. But then when you get up and you go and you pull up to the house, if somebody's in there waiting for somebody to come with them, you can't stop. You can't stop. So you just go. I'm ready to go more. I mean, the Mitch family's right here. What makes y'all go? Come over here. Come here. I don't want y'all to meet these people. Listen, these guys just came from Pacific. Right? It's the whole family right here. Why'd you come?
I'm a family, my wife, and my son, Will. We came because we wanted to help people, and we sensed the need as well. I woke up after watching it on the news one morning about 4 days ago, and just had the urge. I'd love to take my boat and go over there and help these people. And I mentioned something to my wife about an hour later, and she said, "That's so weird." I had the same feeling. I know that's our
Kenny.
Christianity. The Holy Spirit put that in both of us. We packed up and headed out the next morning. And my son's in the 8th grade, and he had a football game this week and a lot of schoolwork to do. But we felt like it was more important for him to see the act of actually going to help people in a selfless way and drive 10 hours to go help people. And I felt like that'd be a much better education than he could ever get from a week at school.
There you go. There you go.
Yeah.
That's why. It's because we love Jesus, because we love people, and because we love our country. That's what gets us up and makes us go. And listen, if you ever get up and go, and you ever love on someone else, it'll fill you up inside out like nothing else ever. That's what I was trying to say. Listen, we've all been hurt. But being loved, when all you want is everybody to love you, want everybody to care of you, and that's great if they will. But that won't fix you, because that defines them. What'll fix you, what'll fix your hurt, is loving other people. Loving God and loving other people. And once you taste it and you get filled on the inside, man, let's go. It's time to go.
Kenny, what's the best thing you saw down there during the last several days?
There's so many. I'm gonna give you one right now. We pulled up to a house yesterday. Me and Andrew are going down the highway, probably 2,000 feet off the road. There's a trailer, and I can't see. There's a house, but the house is flooded, and there's like a mobile home next to the trailer, not a travel trailer. But it's pointed towards us, so all the doors and windows weren't facing the road. And all the houses are on the other side of the road. It's just like an open field. Andrew happened to be looking over there, and he goes, "King, I think I saw something over there." So I said, "Hey, man, let's go look." We turn around, we circle around, we go up in there. We get there. There's an 8-year-old boy with his mom and his daughter in there. He rigged up a broomstick, got a white T-shirt on the end of it, and he was sticking it as far as he could, waving because he knew nobody could see him from the deal. Andrew saw the flag. We go in there, we get them in the boat, man. I know they were scared. They were smiling. They were so happy. The mom had some stuff she needed out of the house, but she realized the power was on. Andrew was going in to get the stuff out of the house. The mom said, "No, sir, you're not going in my house. If anybody's going to die in my house, it's going to be me, not you." I mean, we had to drag her back in the boat. Andrew went in the house, got her stuff. I'm just saying, that's our country. I've seen it over and over. The Meeks have seen it. We've all seen it. And there's just unlimited stories, man. It's just amazing. This is a loving country. It's built on love. Love will sustain it. And the only thing that can tear it down is fear and selfishness. That's it. That's the only thing. So we just got to get back to loving. All I'm saying to the media, please stop instilling fear. Please stop enticing people and trying to just find anything you can. I love our president. I love our country. I love everybody in it. And it's time we all started loving. We met our country this weekend, and we're grateful for it.
Yeah, and we're grateful for it, too. We're grateful to see the other people that are down there, and we're grateful for the fact that you thought you might save one life, and you did, and you probably saved a bunch more, too. Kenny, stick with us for just a couple minutes. We're going to take a quick break, and when I come back, I want to talk just a little bit with you about that divisiveness that you just mentioned that seems to be everywhere. So this is the Hot Mic Show. I'm Bill Whittle on NRATV. We'll be right back.